傍晚临定时订在冰箱上邀请函订着你。第一频道会是强制性的工作活动，博斯曼以极快速度告诉过你。另外来说，不准迟到。我不能放弃另一个周六啊。博斯曼肯定不会高兴，但如果博斯曼中彩票当天当选国王，那肯定他肯定会不高兴。不过不是我的问题，我有权休假，一定要好好利用这个假日。耶、yeah! 我们休息喽。我们要被炒鱿鱼了吗？没有居然没有，居然没有被炒鱿鱼。酷热。我们要先开关吼，差点忘记了。这个要打开吧？打开，太热了。电风扇降温。要随时盯太麻烦了吧？好哦，我们先放这个。这是什么鬼？
Okay, we're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their wax.
我们的电话不见了。
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
现在电风扇都有开着，应该没事。
She's not even here.
Yes, but he is. Our gun-toting handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the
我们
willies.
先这样照中间。
10 seconds, everybody.
石头这样看好累哦。
The world's on fire. That good enough for you? Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight: siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions now entering their 10th week.
这两个有什么差吗？我看不懂A 跟 B 没差吧？这两个照片有差吗？我选 B 了啊，不管了。
The regrettable decisions taken by the World Council this morning have left the citizens
他好像这一种影片都不会翻译好可惜哦。
But Advance have prepared for this day. Our stockpiles are large. Our wealth is unfathomable, and we will defend our citizens with every last breath from this latest brutal and calculated act of war.
他的那根锤在这边真的很想把它帮他剥掉。
We are with you.
又说你跟我们在一起，才不会嘞！想监视我们好吗？还想哭？他想哭。
Ailing athlete Johnny Hamsleeves has announced today that due to general indifference, he'll be retiring from public life. Johnny, who recently
这很吵，我要这个，我要这个。
Tiffany Lamar is still facing an uphill battle with a rare medical condition.
他分手，然后就要被烟火射出去了，这样。
And what could be his final months. Sources close to he now goes by the Hammond Ball and can be seen breaking the sound barrier as he passes over the A7 just outside of Lambury. In it to win it, exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders.
好像很吸引人哦。
Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what teammates Q are describing as unique
这两个都很开心啊，是有没
more than money used to be.
是有什么选择
Take up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Hard pill to swallow. Throngs of men take the streets in response to the release of new pharmaceutical responsibility. Remington Smith's revolutionary burst hit our shelves earlier this month, and as a result, scores of men have been queuing around the block and around the clock ever since.
太惨了，副作用哦。
I've seen waiting times skyrocket over the last several weeks, as men have been on the pill experience side effects in greater numbers than expected. With some pointing the finger squarely at the manufacturing giant, a spokesman was swift to point out that they just don't care. Fungi or fundi. As their supplies dwindle, the scientists of Dante's Taint have had to supplement their food stores with more unconventional cuisine. After funding was pulled due to public outrage,
蓝色的好像比较
all
好看。
attempts to rescue the researchers have now been abandoned. But David and Ingrid's joint team are not going down without a fight.
我发现这好像有声音才会烧起来。
Without sufficient time to test the long-term effects of eating the newly discovered flora, the scientists resorted to deciding which to eat based on their favorite color. FX7B3 has become the staple of their subterranean diet, and reportedly, despite its appetizing aroma, tastes like your dad's old feet. Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protests, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to
左边这个是什么鬼？
as
哇！
grassroots support for the movement grows rapidly, especially in those areas Advance have not yet been able to fully regenerate, people across the country are starting to fear a return to the bad old days of inequality, division, and multiple television shows about buying houses. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with
结束
fascinating
了。
medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship, and her proud owner. That's all up on tonight's National Nightly News.
有了，哦，要换这里了，又要控这个了，又要控这个了。拜托你不要再用那个脸了，那个脸很恐怖。哦，上面上面。哎，哭啊哭啊！等一下。
Our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every...
后面那个电风扇突然停止，真的很过分呢！电风扇突然停住哦，烦哦，直接卡住哎！哇，又要重来了。
I'm sweating like Peter Clement and Horizons here.
Okay, we're working on it.
What, you've got someone to hose down the sun, have you?
Yes, they've just strapped on their
它这个其实不好控。
Classical illusions are no substitute for air conditioning.
You know, I genuinely thought you'd be in a better mood today. You're not even here.
Yes, but he is.
我就偏不放先进档的
Gun-toting
东西。
handler.
Who, Andy?
I don't know what the fuck his name is, do I?
He's here to keep us safe from people like Disrupt.
More like keep us in line. I hate guns. Give me the willies.
10 seconds, everybody.
So we've got any actual real news tonight?
Well, the world
真
is
新
wild.
闻可以讲吗？
Going in
他自己都知道他报的东西是
5,
假的，好好笑。
3.
他自己都知道。
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight. Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and
好，我们先看 A 好了。
sanctions. Now
看
entering
这两个
their
都有什么
10th
差别？
week.
我刚刚看没什么
In a
差别。
statement from team headquarters a short time ago, Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
The regrettable decision taken by the World Council this morning have left the citizens of this country isolated and fearful. But Advance have prepared for this day. Our stockpiles are large, our wealth is unfathomable, and we will defend our citizens with every last breath from this latest brutal and calculated act of war. We are with you.
好像都一样哎，这两个没
One
什么差。
team, indivisible and strong.
这没有什么差。找卫生纸找不到啊
Royals！team. Ailing athlete Johnny Hamsleeves has announced today that due to general indifference, he'll be retiring from public life. Johnny,
好，我
who
们先看另一
recently
个，我们先看另一
split
个。
with long-term partner Tiffany Lamar, is still facing an uphill battle with a rare medical condition. But today said he will now be devoting his time to a new hobby and what could be his final
新的
life.
爱好是这个，
Meditation has helped me conquer
他
my
在
inner turmoil, Johnny said,
他在祷
from a
告。
particularly uncomfortable position on the floor. Clearly, he's opting to step out of the limelight into a life of peace,
他很赞。
tranquility, and banging on and on and on about crystals. In it to win it, exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every month, lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, and if it's lucky winners delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Hard pill to swallow. Throngs of men take the streets in response to the release of new pharmaceutical.
不行，这个我觉得还是要选 B。他刚刚讲那个副作用实在太多了，不要让他们吃了，太可怕了。
And as a result, scores of men have been queuing around the block and around the clock ever since. Emergency departments across the developed world have seen waiting times skyrocket over the last several weeks, as men have been on the pill experience side effects in greater numbers than expected. With some pointing the finger squarely at the manufacturing giant, a spokesman was swift to point out that they just don't care. Fungi or fundi. As their supplies dwindle, the scientists of Dante's Taint have had to supplement their food stores with more unconventional cuisine. After finding a pull to public outrage, all attempts to rescue the researchers have now been abandoned. But David and Ingrid's joint team are not going down without a fight, and have begun to experiment with the available food sources. Trufflewonga socratica, known locally as Forsborgen Horgensweed, has become a key part of the scientists' diet, despite the lack of knowledge as to its long-term effects. Let's hope they don't sprout any unwanted Forsborgen Horgan limbs. Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night.
这个我们哦，这个有，我们就一样选这个好了。我觉得这个人的表情真是深得入心，我就选这个。
Advance have yet to comment. As grassroots support for the movement grows rapidly, especially in those areas Advance have not yet been able to regenerate. People across the country are starting to see a return to the bad old days of inequality, division, and multiple television shows about buying houses. All this, and I'll be talking to some people.
好的，我们要来面对最麻烦的，同时电线爆炸又要控制这个，实在是有够痛苦。
That's all up on tonight's National Nightly News.
好，先控这个。好，有了，再降温了吧？你不要自己在那边关电扇哦，在那边自己关电扇，这很过分哦。哦，有了，睡啦。
But first tonight, our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every
什么？
to see how the people of this great nation of ours.
你要说你们去夏威夷了吗
？Hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to see what the scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. I'm here with
这很明显就是摄影棚啊，在干嘛？他在干嘛
as much as I am.
Suspicious.
Wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating. And you're part of a team carrying out a study into just what's causing this unbelievable heat. Is that right? Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able.
确实会觉得很唬烂，这到底在播三回
Absolutely nothing to worry about, and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace. You sound very confident about that. Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running. So tell us about this experiment. Well, we take data from weather stations from all over the world, along with atmospheric samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high evening with your Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
哎呀，这样嘞！我看要你们看漏网之鱼的画面很赞吧？如果是我会很想看。
About the generous support of Rivington's Fist. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future, and may I just say, complimentary personal.
有，对准了。
Oh, here we go. And as expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on.
还骂脏话、
This can't be right.
Right, but
哦，要动了。
they're going to go that everything is absolutely fine, so.
Well, actually, under concern level, it just says, "Why, God, why?"
We should be celebrating
哎呦喂
these wonderful results, I think.
好，正常了。
We need to
哦，好恐怖哦！天哪！
40 years. here it just says shit.
哎，你这样也降哦，莫名其妙。我只是让你们看一下他画中的样子嘛，你们在还一直骂脏话。
Providing all of this. Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for. Abandon hope and return to the forest. Enjoy that. I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate. The sea will reclaim us all. There you have it, Jeremy.
睁眼说瞎话。
If proof be need be, that everything is just fine. I'm Megan Wolf. Here with science. Back to you.
Megan Wolf there, attempting to do some actual news. Next, heads over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy.
哎，这个是刚刚写的那
I'm
个
here
哎
in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who
我好
hold
调皮，一
team
直切回去
membership
主播那
cards
边
to。receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel? Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And all that you had to do was fill in a quick form
好了，
or
正常了。
two. Wow, that sounds so convenient.
哦，很
But
气的喝
we're
水
all dying to
气
know, what have you won?
That's right. I've won dinner with Julia Salisbury at one of the
真
capitals.
是没空看他们在讲什么，好讨厌哦。
Ooh, swanky.
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
That's absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon.
I've written a poem about it.
So, can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particularly difficult floater,
Ah.
probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
So you were both
要动要
polishing
动要动
turds.
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my
这
collection.
波纹是怎样啊？
How unexpected.
I don't
好了，
polish turds. I write poetry.
Potato, potato. So Gary,
Do you think Peter Clement's going to let me keep
这
the
是很
contents
痛
of
苦，
his
一直在
down?
那边控电扇。
there's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you
这个脸。
signed up for team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no, the boss said I had to sign up to keep coming into school.
哦，被强迫的。
I want to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No,
Or an anthology.
说不要啊，还一直推销。
I'd rather hear about Gary's turd collection.
哎，你很坏哎，说别人的屎大便，
Are you all right?
还在吟诗，还在吟诗了。
It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Right you are.
Today on the show there's no news. Just a man who keeps multiple clues.
This big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous.
这是什么啦？大便哦，这是大便哦。
Other people to enter for their chance to win.
Well, if it's colour you're looking for, take a gander at old blue eyes.
哦，好恶心哦。
When it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
还是
Maybe that was
还是
unfair.
香肠啊，
And
看
that's
不
all
出
we have
来。
time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's
Go.
who's going to
它真的是大便，它真的是大便。
see how the unprecedented weather is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford,
Stop
which is
it,
recently
stop
voted
it.
the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this, the smell really...
我就知道电风扇一定会关掉。
It's something else. Barry
Oh.
Lardner, mate, you've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you. You can tell that, look at him, proud as punch. Do you know what it's like, son, being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster. Those smug fucks. But who's laughing now, eh?
Tell you what, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right,
How
a
could
few
you
people
do-
from Willington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built Flard factory.
Yeah, they gave us
Who
this
about-
presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
Stink not affect your life.
哎， 下。
You get used to it after several weeks of your first bout
OK
of
OK OK。
The judges were very impressed.
哎，他那个突然同时关掉，真的很过分哎！他怎么可以同时关啊？太过分了吧！
Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the waterway, but I think it's probably a few valves on the high street.
On the high street? Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Oh.
Do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, you stinking old tramp?
好恶，没刷昨天没刷牙。
Period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
That's not really a problem. Never sung in my life. Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon, and he's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous. Why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even let you touch it if you want.
公三会。
Oh, that will be the bout of undeserved.
你在干嘛？你不要北来啦
Love the Bannon. Feel the Bannon. Oh man, what's the point?
And the